Kalen stood outside the door of his new room, staring at the number printed on the screen. Unit 7B, Human Therapy Section. He took a deep breath. After 6 long months of battlefield duty, the military finally ordered him to take rest. Too much stress, they said. You're breaking down, his commander had warned. So now he was here on an alien medical base, far from Earth. He pressed his hand to the sensor. The door slid open with a soft hiss. Inside, he expected an empty room, a bed, maybe some basic gear. But instead, someone was already waiting. Kalen froze. Sitting calmly in the middle of the room was a girl, but not human. She had glowing green skin, long pink braids falling over her shoulder, and bright eyes that shimmered like stars. Her clothing was made of soft leaves and fabric, wrapped around her like a tribal uniform. She looked young, beautiful, and calm. The alien girl stood up and smiled. You must be Kalen, she said gently. He blinked. Yeah? And you are? I am Valari. I have been assigned to you. For your healing. Kalen's eyes widened. Assigned to me? What does that mean? She tilted her head slightly. Your people suffer from stress. We are trained to help. I will stay with you, talk to you, listen, and sleep beside you. What? Kalen stepped back. Sleep beside me? Valari nodded as if it was normal. Our methods work best with close presence. Shared sleeping spaces allow heart rhythms to align. It helps calm your nervous system. Kalen looked at the room. There was only one bed. Wait a second. This is some kind of mistake, he said quickly. They didn't tell me anything about sharing a bed with someone. Valari smiled again, calm and gentle. Do you prefer the left side or the right side? He couldn't believe it. This girl, this alien, was dead serious. I prefer sleeping alone, he said. She nodded, thoughtful. That is common with humans at first, but I am trained to reduce discomfort. You may speak your worries, or we can begin with silence. Kalen rubbed his face and sat on the edge of the bed. He wasn't sure if this was a dream, a prank, or some advanced alien therapy that nobody warned him about. Valari walked closer. Her steps were silent. She stopped a few feet away and spoke softly. Your heart rate is high. You feel tension in your chest. This is common. Kalen looked up. You can tell that just by looking? She raised a small, glowing device. We monitor your body. It helps us serve you better. He sighed. I just wanted to rest. I didn't expect company. Valari sat cross-legged on the floor in front of him. You may rest. I will stay nearby and keep your mind calm. Okay, Kalen muttered. But maybe don't get into the bed, okay? Not tonight. She looked a little puzzled, but then gave a small nod. As you wish. Silence filled the room for a while. Outside, the soft sound of alien birds echoed through the open jungle windows. The air smelled of flowers and something sweet. Kalen lay back on the bed, staring at the ceiling. His mind was full of thoughts, not about war, not about fear, but about the strange green girl sitting on his floor, watching him. He turned his head slightly. Valari was still there. Her eyes were closed now, but she looked peaceful, like she belonged in this world of quiet waterfalls and soft winds. Then suddenly, she opened her eyes and said in a whisper, You are still not fully at rest. May I come closer? Kalen hesitated. I promise, she said. It is only to help you sleep. He nodded slowly. Valari moved gently beside the bed, not touching him, just sitting close. Her voice was calm and warm. You are safe now, Kalen. You are not alone tonight. And strangely, for the first time in weeks, he believed her. Kalen woke in the middle of the night with a strange feeling warmth, steady breathing, and a soft hum beside him. He turned his head slowly. Hilari was in his bed, not just lying beside him, but curled close, her hand resting gently over his heart, as if it belonged there. "What are you doing?" he whispered. Her eyes were already open. "You were restless," she said softly. "Your breathing was uneven. Your body was shivering." "I was just dreaming." "Yes," she nodded. "Your stress levels rose." I responded. "You responded by climbing into bed with me?" She nodded calmly, like it was the most normal thing in the galaxy. Touch reduces fear. Shared space increases peace. This is how we help. Kaelin didn't know whether to pull away or freeze. "You're not afraid of me?" he asked. Hilari smiled gently. "I am trained, and I like your warmth." He sat up, rubbing his eyes. "We just met yesterday." "Yes," she said. "Still?" "Calm. But we are bonded now." "Bonded?" he repeated. "That sounds intense." She tilted her head. "On my world, bonding is not strange. It is healing. Sharing sleep, sharing scent, sharing stories. All are part of trust." Kaelin stared at her. She didn't blink. She didn't even seem to understand why he was nervous. "I think humans do it differently," he muttered. She looked curious. "Then teach me." He blinked. "What?" "If your way of comfort is different," she said, "then show me your version of peace. I will adapt." Before he could respond, she leaned forward and placed something soft in his hands. A small, glowing orb. "This is part of our calm ritual. If you speak while holding it, your true emotions surface more easily." "I don't need help speaking." She smiled. "Then speak to me now." "No walls." Kaelin stared at the orb, then at Hilari. Part of him wanted to laugh. Another part, the tired, aching part, felt seen in a way no one else had made him feel. He took a breath. "I don't like sleeping with strangers. I don't like losing control. And I don't know if this is therapy or something else." Hilari nodded slowly. "Then we start with control and choice." She lay back down on the far side of the bed, giving him space. "I will not touch you again unless you ask." Kaelin didn't move, but his heart beat slower. His shoulders dropped. The silence felt different now. Not heavy, just quiet. She turned to him, her voice soft like a dream. "When you are ready, I will show you how we share comfort. It is not only body, it is soul." Outside, the soft sounds of the alien jungle played like a lullaby. And inside that room, Kaelin wondered if maybe, just maybe, this was the kind of therapy he needed all along. Kaelin found the note just after breakfast, folded neatly, tucked. Under the door of his quarters. It had only 5 words. "She's not what you think." No name, no sender. Just those words. He stared at the note for a long time. Hilari was in the shower pod, humming softly in her alien language, unaware. The paper felt heavy in his hand, even though it was light. What did they mean? He had started to get used to her presence, her calm voice, the way she always noticed his stress before he did. And last night, she had kept her promise, not touching him, not crossing the invisible line he drew between them. So why was someone warning him? Later, on the training deck, Kaelin heard low whispers between 2 other humans. He couldn't catch all the words, but he heard enough. Those companions. Pretty faces, sure. But some say it's all a setup. Experimental bonding. Emotional monitoring. Control disguised as comfort. Kaelin's stomach turned. Was Hilari part of some secret program? When he returned to his room that evening, Hilari greeted him as usual, peaceful, warm. But something about her smile now made him feel unsure. Offered him a bowl of glowing fruit. "You had a hard session today." He didn't respond. Instead, he asked, "Do you know who else has companions like you?" She paused. Yes, there are others. Why? Just curious. She tilted her head. Your voice is different today. Tight. Are you angry? Kaelin looked at her, the doubt growing stronger. Should I be? Valari didn't answer. She only looked at him, her expression unreadable for the first time. And in that moment, Kaelin realized something strange. He didn't know who had chosen her for him. Or why. The lights went out with a sharp crack. Kaelin jolted awake as the room was swallowed by darkness. A loud alarm buzzed through the base, then cut off suddenly, leaving behind an eerie silence. Then came the shaking, not violent, but deep, like the floor itself was breathing. He sat up fast. Valari, I'm here. Her voice came from near the door, calm but alert. Stay still. The emergency lights flickered weakly to life, painting the walls in red. Kaelin could see her now, already dressed, already moving, like she had expected this. What's going on? He asked. Base-wide lockout, she said. System failure. We are sealed in until command resets the core. The floor trembled. Again beneath them, Kaelin stood, grabbing a nearby jacket. That's no simple glitch. Valari looked at him. It may not be a glitch. What are you saying? She walked closer, slowly. Some of the companions were not only assigned for emotional recovery, some were planted to observe responses during stress events. Kaelin's heart sank. You knew this was coming? No, she said, but I feared it. Then, without warning, she reached for his hand and held it tightly. Her palm was warm. Her grip was firm. If this is what I think it is, Kaelin, ... You need to understand something? What? If you die, she whispered, eyes glowing faintly in the red light, I die too. Kaelin couldn't sleep, not because of fear, but because of how close she was. Valari wasn't just sitting near him anymore. She was beside him, her back against the same wall, her shoulder gently touching his. The emergency lights had gone out hours ago. The room was pitch black. Only the slow hum of the base's backup systems reminded him that they were still alive. You're shaking, she said softly. I'm not, Kaelin replied. You are, he sighed. It's not fear. It's, I don't know, confusion. Valari leaned closer. Her voice was a whisper now. You don't need to understand everything. Just allow peace. She reached out slowly and placed her hand over his chest, right above his heart. He didn't stop her. It was strange, calming. He could feel her breathing, slow, even, like she was teaching his body how to follow. You don't have to do this, he said, but I want to. Why? She paused for a long moment before answering. Because your heartbeat matters to me now. Those words weren't part of any training manual. They weren't clinical. They were personal. Real. Kaelin turned his head slightly, even though he couldn't see her face in the dark. Are you still doing your job? Or is this something else? I don't know, she whispered, but I feel something. When I'm this close, the air between them felt warmer. He wasn't sure if it was emotion, attraction, or something deeper, but he didn't move away. Not this time. Valari wasn't breathing. Kaelin sat up, panicked, and reached for her. Valari? She opened her eyes slowly, blinking. I'm fine. No, you weren't moving. Not even your chest. She sat up too, voice soft. I slowed my breath. I was preparing to tell you something difficult. He stared at her in the low light. You scared me. Valari looked away. For the first time, her face didn't carry its usual calm. Kaelin, she said, her voice trembling slightly. I wasn't assigned to you randomly. What? I chose you. The silence between them felt heavier than any storm. I read your file, she continued, before the program started. Your missions, your trauma, your behavior patterns. We were given profiles, but I requested you. Kalen stood up, stepping back. You knew about me before we met? Velari nodded slowly. Yes, I wanted to be near you, even if I had to pretend it was therapy. He didn't know what to say. It felt like a betrayal, but also something strangely human. Why? He asked. I don't know, she admitted. But when I read about you, I felt something. A pull. My people call it soul calling. It means we're drawn to another, even if we don't understand why. Kalen sat back down, heart racing. Everything. They shared every word. Every quiet night. It wasn't part of a plan, it was a choice. The transfer order came at sunrise. Kalen found it flashing on the room's main screen. Subject Velari to be reassigned. Effective immediately. He stood frozen, his breath caught in his throat. Velari hadn't said a word. She stood by the window, staring out at the alien jungle silence still. You knew this was coming? He asked. She nodded. Our time was always limited. Therapy sessions end. That is the rule. But what we have, that's not just therapy. Velari turned slowly. Her eyes, always calm, now shimmered with sadness. Then tell them that. Fight it. Kalen stepped forward. I will. But her voice was gentle as she replied, You must ask yourself one thing first. Am I still part of your healing or part of your heart? The question hit him harder than he expected. Velari walked toward him, placing her hand gently on his chest one last time. If you let me go, I will disappear. You will return to duty, and they will say you were cured. And if I don't? Her fingers trembled. Then they will say you broke protocol, that you fell for your therapist, that you loved someone who was never yours to keep. Kalen looked at her, really looked at her. Not as a companion, not as an alien, but as someone who came when he was broken and stayed when he tried to push her away. And maybe that was the most human kind of love there was. He reached out and held her hand tightly. Then let them say what they want. * The end.